that time, business time, and I'm pleased to announce Kate Moody's here in the studio. Good evening to you.
Hi, Mark.
An oversight board upheld Facebook's ban on the former US President Donald Trump. Tell us more.
Well, this is an independent oversight committee that was set up last year. It's made up of 20 members, supposedly external experts in areas like free speech, human rights, and journalism. The board agreed that the posts by the then president of January 6th severely violated Facebook and Instagram's content standards by supporting the violent riots that were taking place on Capitol Hill. But it said that the suspension of his account, followed by a request for this board to review it, amounted to an arbitrary penalty that had not been adequately justified. And it said Facebook needed to take responsibility and apply clear standards to all of its users. Take a listen.
We are giving Facebook 6 months to conduct this review, at which point the company must make a definite and clear determination based on the severity of the conduct and the danger of future harm. It must either restore Mr. Trump's account, finding that the period of suspension has met its purpose, make the suspension permanent, or suspend the account for a determinate period of time.
Well, Donald Trump himself this week launched a new blog, publishing short statements that look similar to tweets or a social media feed. He called today's decision a disgrace and described social media groups as corrupt organizations that he said must pay the political price. He also has been repeating previous and false claims that voter fraud caused his loss to Joe Biden in November's election. Now, because it's a personal website, this is not subject to the same sort of oversight as other platforms. The former president remains permanently banned from Twitter. Google has suspended him from YouTube, but has not yet said whether it will permanently delete his account or not. The decision has prompted Republicans to call for more oversight of tech firms. The Biden administration declined to comment directly on this case, but said social media platforms have a responsibility to stop amplifying untrustworthy content. The European Commission has outlined new rules that would give it more power to look into or block foreign investment in European companies. The proposals, which must be approved by the EU Parliament and member states, would see authorities investigate major takeover bids, as well as the subsidies or state aid received by firms that are bidding for public contracts in Europe. The rules don't specifically mention China, but they're clearly aimed at the growing international reach of Chinese companies. On Tuesday, the EU confirmed it had suspended its efforts to ratify a major investment deal with Beijing in a row over sanctions linked to human rights concerns. A post-Brexit row between the UK and France over fishing rights has reached new heights today. French fishermen have been saying they've been unable to operate in British waters as outlined in the Brexit trade deal because of difficulties in obtaining the proper licenses. On Wednesday, a French minister suggested that if this issue isn't resolved, France could cut off electricity to the island of Jersey. The British dependency, located in the Channel about 20 kilometers from the coast of Brittany, it imports 95% of its energy from France.
The Brexit agreement provides for retaliatory measures, and we are ready to use them. Europe and France have means. They are inscribed in the agreement. Insofar as Jersey is concerned, I'll remind you, for example, of electricity transportation via undersea cable. So we have the means, and even if I regret that we could get to this point, we'll get there if we must.
Well, the UK government has called those threats unacceptable and disproportionate, while officials in Jersey said they had expected teething problems in the implementation of the Brexit deal. Fishing, of course, Mark, was one of the trickiest areas in those years of Brexit negotiations. And even now that that trade deal has been approved, it's clear that it's far from behind us.
Indeed. Kate, thank you very much indeed. Kate there with all the business.